Hi and welcome to This Is Your Life. We're taking a ferry ride here on Sydney Harbour, heading towards Walsh Bay, home of the acclaimed Sydney Theatre Company. Now tonight's guest of honour is rehearsing right now at the theatre for the musical A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum. After his career began amid controversy, he went from rock and roller to star of stage and screen, and at one stage was even labelled the sexiest man alive. Well, we're going to surprise him now during rehearsals, so come along.
Nothing that's spring, nothing that's Greek. She plays Medea later this week. Something surprises, cunning disguises, hundreds of actors out of sight.
Something's wrong.
John English.
Yeah?
This is your life.
You're joking. You're joking. Oh, you're kidding.
No, I'm not kidding.
I thought it was... Oh.
No, you didn't sweat. No, you didn't sweat.
You didn't have any plans tonight, did you?
Oh, no, I don't think so. No, they're cancelled now. Oh, what?
We've got a wonderful night for you, and
Oh, God.
and then well deserved too.
Oh.
Thank you, everyone, too.
Suck me in.
Well done. Ladies and gentlemen, John English. John, take it, please. Jonathan James English. You're born on the 26th of March 1949 in Cockney, London. You're one of 4 children to Sydney, an airline worker, and his wife Sheila. And when your big sister Janet starts at the Thames Valley School of Music, you miss her desperately. In fact, you miss her so much that your mum sends you as well, even though you're still only 3 years old. And so begins your lifelong love affair with music. Then you're only 5 when your mum decides to move the whole family out of the city to live in a bus in the country for the next 3 years. Interesting experience?
Absolutely, yeah. Yep. I remember getting chased by geese and acorns on the roof and thinking it was snow. It was great.
By the time you're 7, you attend Town Farm Primary School and begin singing in the Stanwell Church Choir. Have a look at it. But you're also a natural athlete. You excel at every sport you try, and your mum is sure you're going to be a top sports star. And here she is now.
Oh,
Now, Sheila, tell us just how good a sports star was he?
Oh, he was very good at sport, yes. He was very good at most sports. But I knew something was like that was going to happen because the day he was born, we had the Oxford and Cambridge boat race, the Grand National horse race, and the FA Cup final.
On the day John was born?
Day, yes. So I could lie back and listen to it all.
That's my mother on television. I think she's not good at this. Very good, Mum.
Oh, thank you, darling.
Well done,
Sheila, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you. It's all right.
Take a seat, John.
Oh, right. Jeez.
It's 1960, you're 11, and life is about to change dramatically. Your father finds a new job with an airline called Qantas in faraway Australia. He first finds a house in the Sydney suburb of Cabramatta,
Hey.
where the rest of the family join him 6 months later. And once you start school, you're an immediate hit with all the girls. And to tell us more about all that are your sisters Janet and Jill, and all the way from Hong Kong, your brother Jeremy.
Oh, blimey.
Now, Janet, what was he like growing up?
He was tall, dark, untidy, and he had a broken nose. But I didn't realise that was a fatally attractive combination until I started seeing "I love Jonathan English" written all over the desks at Cabramatta High School.
Jill, did you find it difficult, being the baby of the family, having such a star in the family?
Me and Mum had to go and pick him up from an appearance one time at a shopping centre, and he said, you know, be there at the right time, make sure you're there. And so we were there, and he came running out, dived into the combi and slammed the door and said, go, go, go. And we thought, why? And then all these screaming fans came out, and we thought, what are they chasing him for?
Is that when you realised that he was somebody?
He was somebody, and he still is.
Oh, that's great.
And Jeremy, you guys, apart from being brothers, have always been good mates.
I can lay claim to being the person who got him started, I think, in his career, really, with the discovery of an advertisement for the auditions for Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. We'd had the album in the house for months, and John had always said, you know, if they ever put that show on, I want to play Judas. That's the part I want to play. And I said, well, look, here's the ad. We should go and have a go. So we said, all right, and we got in the car and we drove all the way from Cabramatta into town. And we drove all the way back again to Cabramatta that day, because it wasn't on that day, it was the next day. I got the days wrong. But the next day, yeah, he auditioned, then, well, he never looked back.
Thanks very much all for joining us. Appreciate it.
You look great. Fantastic. Sorry, mate. Yeah. Hello.
John, you always enjoy music, but it's not until you're 13 that your passion for it really ignites. Your dad teaches you to play the guitar, and you spend hours, days, emulating the Beatles. You start university at 19, but realise there's something more interesting back at school. And she's a pretty blonde named Carmen. So you marry your childhood sweetheart when you're 20 in 1969. And Carmen joins us now. It's a fascinating story about how you guys got together. Would you tell us, please, Carmen?
Well, it actually started with a toss of the coin.
Yeah, that's right.
It was at an ex-student's dance at Cabramatta High School, and well, John told me the story that he and his best mate Lonnie actually flipped a coin to see who'd ask me out, and I gather John won.
Yeah, well, I won. Yeah.
In a big way. but so successful, really.
He's wonderful.
Ah.
Please, Carmen, if you take yourself away. John, you're 21. It's now 1970. By day, you're a bank clerk. By night, a rock singer. Your band, Sebastian Hardy, plays regular gigs and is often the support act for Johnny O'Keefe. But little do you realise your big break is just around the corner. And when we come back, it's Jesus Christ Superstar and John English as Judas.
John English, 1971. Jim Sharma and I were sitting on Saturday afternoon, dark, in the playbox theatre at Third Street, and this weird-looking guy walked on stage with a weird suit and stovepipe trousers and winkle picker shoes about that long. And we nudged each other in the dark and said to each other, "This is Judas." And you were our Judas. We've been looking for 5 weeks. You were fantastic, you are fantastic, and you made an enormous contribution to the show and to me and everybody else. Thanks for your help and support. Have a great night, all of you, and a great rest of your life.